The CM Punk chants. Oh my god. Yes! Yes! Yeah, they've got the thing! Yes!
It's got to be MJF, right?
Oh my god! Oh my god, this crowd!
Come on.
Oh, the best in the world and everything! It's got the signs!
CM Punk! Says the name.
Oh! And it's him! It's actually him! It's actually him! Oh, I knew you loved this, Punk! I knew you loved it! CM Punk to AEW confirmed, or actually has a sign. I honestly don't think I've ever seen you cry in my whole life. Honestly, I've never seen you cry.
CM Punk to AEW confirmed.
Yes! It's real! Get up, get up, get up, get up. Oh.
I'm Ollie Davis. This is the WrestleTalk News, where CM Punk fired by AEW. Confirmed. Just 6 days after the reported backstage altercation between CM Punk and Jack Perry at August 27th's All-in Wembley Stadium show, AEW has confirmed in an official statement that CM Punk has been released from the promotion. All Elite Wrestling has terminated the wrestler and employment agreements between Phillip Brooks, CM Punk, and AEW with cause effective immediately. The termination was confirmed today by Tony Khan, CEO, General Manager, and Head of Creative of AEW. Termination follows a week-long internal investigation of an incident occurring backstage at AEW All in London on Sunday, August 27th. Following the investigation, the AEW Discipline Committee met and later convened with outside legal counsel before making a unanimous recommendation to Khan that CM Punk be terminated with cause. The Discipline Committee, name of your new NXT heel faction. Khan offered the following statement. Phil played an important role within AEW, and I thank him for his contributions. The termination of his AEW contracts with cause was ultimately my decision and mine alone. Of course, I wish I did not have to share this news, which may come as a disappointment to many of our fans. Nevertheless, I am making the decision in the best interests of the many amazing people who make AEW possible every week. Our talent, staff, venue operators, and others whose efforts are unsung but essential to bringing our great shows on television and at arena and stadiums throughout the world. Fightful and Wrestling Observer have explained the wrestler and employment agreements wording in the statement, reporting Punk was signed to both a performer's contract and an employee's contract. Wrestling Observer adds that because the firing is for cause, meaning his contract wasn't bought out, this has likely cost Punk many millions of dollars with multiple years left on his deal. The statement was posted shortly before that night's episode of Collision and 24 hours before AEW's second pay-per-view in 1 week, All Out, both events taking place in Punk's hometown of Chicago, which explains why AEW President Tony Khan was booed so heavily when he addressed the crowd before Collision began. Wrestling Observer Radio has also reported there was a talent meeting held backstage before Collision to inform them of the news. Khan publicly expanded on the release statement in a video package that opened the Collision broadcast. Today, I had to make one of the toughest decisions of my professional career. Today, I terminated Phil Brooks, CM Punk, for cause. This stems from a backstage incident at AEW All In last Sunday. The incident was regrettable and it endangered people backstage. That includes the production staff, the people who help put this show on every week, innocent people who had nothing to do with it. I've been going to wrestling shows for over 30 years. I've been producing them on this network for nearly 4 years. Never in all that time have I ever felt until last Sunday that my security, my safety, my life was in danger at a wrestling show. I don't think anybody should feel that way at work. I don't think the people I work with should feel that way, and I had to make a very difficult choice today. This seemingly corroborates the Wrestling Observer's neutral source report that alleges Punk lunged at Khan following the Perry confrontation. Dave Meltzer has since added his description was actually toning it down. It was more than lunging, and he regrets being far too kind to Punk in his coverage. Meltzer tweeted, "The non-wrestler eyewitness report in the current issue of The Observer is probably the best description as to the what and the why." That non-wrestler eyewitness report claims that Punk approached Perry backstage to go nose-to-nose with him aggressively. Perry said his on-air real glass comment was just to get heel heat, to which Punk reacted to by shoving, punching and choking him, all in front of Tony Khan. Once things were being broken up, Punch allegedly lunged at Khan, saying he's quitting the company. Samoa Joe calmed the situation for his and Punk's opening match to go ahead. The All In incident is notably different from last year's All Out one. The alleged Punk and Elite locker room altercation happened behind closed doors, where there were limited eyewitnesses for who started it and no camera footage because it's a private dressing room. The gorilla position in Wembley Stadium, however, where the most recent incident occurred, was in a place where there's always cameras running, with far more witnesses, wrestlers, and non-wrestlers alike. Meltzer has added that the investigation didn't just take the All-In altercation into account, but also interview personnel regarding the last year of Punk's conduct in the company, as this is far from the only backstage controversy. As those reportedly include, but aren't limited to, in reverse chronological order, Survival Series style, Punk already arguing with Perry backstage about using real glass, top AEW talent like Hangman Page and Christopher Daniels not being allowed on Collision, Punk having a backstage argument with Ryan Nemeth, Punk cutting an unscripted promo on Hangman Page, which, the other way round, is what started all this last May. Punk potentially pulling out of Collision because his close friend Ace Steel wasn't allowed to be there in person due to his involvement in the previous September's backstage fight. Unless there's clear video footage evidence, though, there's usually two sides to every story. For Punk's defense, House of Wrestling has reported in the wake of his firing that a sit-down reconciliation meeting between Punk and the Elite was planned for the week of All In, but it was called off at the last minute by the Elite's camp. The meeting was reportedly supposed to have Tony Khan present and was meant to bury the hatchet between both sides. The cancellation of it appears to have added to Punk's overall frustrations with the situation heading into the event. House of Wrestling is the website of Nick Houseman, the wrestling reporter Punk actually targeted at the All-In press conference last year for being friends with Colt Cabana, after which he launched into his shoot promo. Brian Alvarez has subsequently denied Houseman's report, writing, "There was no meeting booked. The Elite was approached about it and shot it down." There is currently no update on Jack Perry or Ace Steel's positions in AEW. In terms of the rest of the roster, PW Insider is reporting the reaction to Punk's termination depends on the person. Some are really down on it. Others, as you can imagine, feel it was the right move and are happy about it. There are some who have relayed they are just happy Tony Khan made a decision and that they hope to just move forward and have the focus be on AEW and the shows themselves. Potentially standing in the way of the just move forward camp, however, are all of CM Punk's friends. Cash Wheeler held up Punk's X sign while accompanying Dax Harwood down to the ring on Collision, and Roosh, who Punk had described as one of his colliders, has tweeted a bunch of photos of him beating up Jungle Boy in a match from earlier this year. Others, however, are of course happy. The Young Bucks, for instance, made their first appearance ever on Collision in the main event to help FTR. Man and Nick Jackson were said to do a literal victory lap around the ring after the show went off air, getting heat from the Chicago crowd. And Kenta, the inventor of Punk's finishing move, has tweeted, "Welcome back, my go-to sleep." Kenta presumably just always has his caps lock on. That's how he writes his name. The New Japan star has maintained in interviews he doesn't like Punk, but that could just be him building a match. With Punk no longer de facto running Collision, Andrew Zarian has tweeted Warner Bros. Discovery have been told the soft to medium well-done brand split with Dynamite will be ending, which is probably for the best. As the rate wrestlers were going on the ban list, it'd eventually just be Punk, FTR and Brody King. WWE's Grayson Waller has also made a potential reference to Punk's firing, tweeting after being attacked by Jey Uso on Payback. "Jey Uso attacking me unprovoked on my own show? Fire this man!" Using a can of Punk's favourite drink, Pepsi, to soothe his jaw. Because this potentially means as one door closes, another opens. Hit the drum roll! CM Punk to WWE confirmed. Meltzer is reporting that because Punk was fired, unless a waiting period was in the way the termination papers were signed, he can go to WWE. The question now becomes, did WWE actually want him? Meltzer adds that Punk actually tried to return to WWE twice over the last 5 years. Firstly, when SmackDown debuted on Fox in 2019, where he changed the culture. He's good at changing the culture of companies, isn't he? Fox apparently pressured WWE to sign him back then, to which Vince McMahon reportedly said, "We'll sign anyone but him." Then again, only 10 months ago, following the all-out brawl, Meltzer claims Punk thought he could get out of his AEW contract with a buyout, but WWE made the decision not to use him. Fightful Select is reporting Punk's firing was heavily discussed backstage in WWE at their Payback pay-per-view that was about to start as news broke. But Punk still has heat with several high-level individuals in WWE. Seth Rollins, for instance, called Punk a cancer in what appeared to be a shoot interview last year, saying he's always known Punk was a jerk, and Triple H, who currently runs the place, has had a long tumultuous relationship with Punk. CM Punk Royal Rumble number 30 entrant confirmed. As many of you know, CM Punk is my favourite wrestler. His wrestling return with AEW in the 2021 Summer of Punk after the pandemic is one of my most treasured memories. His brief but intense feud with Eddie Kingston was incredible, and his 2 matches with MJF make up my favourite wrestling storyline ever, and I'm absolutely devastated we'll never see its conclusion. For better or worse, I'm a Punk fan. I'm also a Weezer fan, even though they haven't released a good album for 20 years, because both of them were there for me at points in my life when I needed that pop culture escapism, and they filled a hole within me that I'll cherish forever. But Punk has had an increasingly destructive presence in AEW for a year now. It's hard to enjoy the kayfabe excellence when there's so much drama behind the scenes. It's a relationship that stopped benefiting either party a long time ago. I hope now they and we can move on from what's been a pretty crappy year.
It doesn't matter what I say. I've said no and no so many times that people just always kind of be like, oh, so there's a chance. And people always come and go, and they come back and they leave and they come back. This is where I live now. This is my headspace.
CM Punk return confirmed! 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 Undertaker to AEW confirmed! And CM Punk return! CM Punk return confirmed! CM Punk to AEW confirmed! CM Punk return. CM Punk to AEW confirmed. CM Punk to AEW confirmed. CM Punk to AEW confirmed. CM Punk to AEW double confirmed. CM Punk to AEW triple confirmed. CM Punk to AEW confirmed. CM Punk return confirmed. CM Punk to AEW confirmed. CM Punk return 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 confirmed. CM Punk to AEW confirmed. CM Punk return confirmed. Yes! CM Punk return confirmed. CM Punk in ring return confirmed. CM Punk to AEW confirmed. CM Punk return confirmed. CM Punk return confirmed. CM Punk return confirmed. CM Punk to AEW confirmed. CM Punk to AEW confirmed. CM Punk to AEW confirmed. CM Punk return confirmed. CM Punk. Now, I've had a running gag on this channel for about 4 years, but regardless of who a signing story is about, I will end it on some variation of Phil Brooks' wrestling name to some wrestling promotion. Affirmative, that catchphrase will not pass these lips again until CM Punk is officially announced by All Elite Wrestling or turns up on Dynamite. CM Punk to CM Punk to AEW. Oh, goddamn it. Whatever you think, tell me CM Punk to AEW. Oh, goddamn it. CM Punk to AEW. No! Not yet. CM Punk to... Easy, Davis. Easy. CM Punk to... Hold the door, Davis. Not until he's on screen. CM Punk to... No, I'm not doing it yet. CM Punk to... No. CM Punk to... Hold the fist, Davis. Not until it's official. CM Punk to... No. One more day, Davis. One more day.
Yes! Yeah, they've got the thing! Yes!
It's got the MJF, right?
Oh my god, this crowd! Oh, the best in the world and everything! It's got the signs, CM Punk! Oh! And it's It's him! It's actually him! It's actually him! Oh my god! Oh no! What's his face?
I honestly don't think I've ever seen you cry in my whole life. Honestly, I've never seen you cry, ever.
Try not to.
CM Punk to AEW confirmed.
Yes! It's actually real!